In a world where FC Barcelona can't defend for shit, only one man can save them. And it's Gerard Martin! Boys, Animation Friday is over, and we're talking about Gerard Martin and his sudden rise here as a center back who might have just saved Barcelona, but also might not or should probably not be the most surprising thing we've seen because he's got an interesting history as a center back and also playing against Barcelona defensively in ways we will talk about today. But most importantly, we're going to establish how bad Barcelona were because in the past month, they've been okay, right? The Chelsea match is a big blip on the radar, but they have done a decent job against a lot of teams this past month and a half, I would say. It wasn't this drastic or underperformance like a lot of people would like you to say, but still they were winning games, getting points in the league, and yet their defense did not look good at all. They were not defending well. Everybody was complaining about it. They were conceding goals, not great goals either for that matter. And the link-up play between either Araujo, most specifically in the Chelsea match, and Kubarsi, and Eric Garcia or Kunde at right back, the defensive unit of the squad altogether was just not working all that well together until, I might add, my GOAT, Gerard Martini, absolutely, oh, not that yet. Gerard Martini absolutely turned it on in a way that, yes, is making fans make the greatest meme pictures of all time here. I'm sorry, I'm going to give you all a seizure if I keep doing this, but I'm having kind of too much fun doing that. He's actually looking really, really good, and the partnership looks healthier than it has looked all season, and more like we saw last year, where, yeah, they're still playing a high line, they're still conceding space in behind, but potentially the understanding and the way it works together is actually better than it was the entire season, even with more established center backs like Ronald Araujo, like Eric Garcia as well, who Eric Garcia has been playing there for 4 or 5 years at center back for Barcelona on and off, and never really looked that solid. And I kind of thought that he would be able to replace Inigo Martinez a little bit better. That didn't happen. And right when Barcelona really needed it the most, where Kubarsi, he's still really good. He still has a lot of potential, but he's still a kid. Hasn't looked comfortable. Hasn't even looked that comfortable making long passes or being aggressive with his ball playing ability because we know he has skill there. He hasn't been able to do it as much because obviously this team's uncertain back there. Gerard Martin is kind of there to answer a little bit of that question and fill in that space a little bit better than we probably hoped or could have ever imagined. Now, Gerard Martin, he's had an interesting time at Barcelona in the past couple years, but he started his career at UE Cornellà, I think in the third division. I'm still on Martin's forehead. UE Cornellà in the third or fourth division of Spanish football when he was about 20, 21 years old is when we really first started seeing him get some more attention and everything. But in his, I think, last full season with Cornellà, he played mostly as a center back. As you can see here, 90 minutes in all of these games, majority of them being at center back. Now, I don't believe Cornellà was a great defensive side that year, but you could see there's a lot of draws, a lot of 0-0s, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0 against Barça Athletic as well. 0-0, 4-3, obviously, and actually, the season before this, I believe, when he was still playing as a left back, was when he first came up against FC Barcelona in a way that probably brought some attention to him. Yes, this is the season before. So he's playing primarily as a left back, and we'll see him against, this was just pain in my butthole, the worst Barcelona side I've seen. Like, we've got Griezmann, Braithwaite, Elias Mariba, Trincao, Ricky Puig, Pjanic, and I don't know who this. I think this is Mingueza over here, and so it's just prime make Robbie cry his brains out because his team sucks. However, we've got some masterclass, the just inklings of what could come from this very deep playing Cornellà team in this match, and we can see some highlights of this here real quick. Right? Oh my God, just locks down Mariba. Yeah, no thanks, not happening today ever with Gerard Martini around, right? We've got Martini right here with El Mosquito right here as well. Griezmann taking a knee on the ball for some reason. And you'll see another masterclass right here. Absolutely never in doubt. Clearance like an absolute stud muffin. Never in doubt right here. Oh, no, Gerard Martin is getting in the way. Yeah, never a chance. Absolutely locked down. And you can see here, another one of those great moments. Grisou, one of the best La Liga players of the past decade and a half, absolute legend in La Liga for Barcelona, very decent player statistically as well, even though it was disappointing. But you know what was more disappointing? Coming up against Gerard Martin, because no chance you'll get any closer. Puts it over the bar, no chance. Scaring him half to death. Has to put it over because obviously never getting around the GOAT, Gerard Maldini. All right, so we got another here, dangerous position. This is Cornea attacking now. And we see our little man right here, high potential, right? Dangerous position here. And we saw his crossing boots, I believe, getting 1 or 2 assists in the Inter Milan match last year. He's got it again. Look at this. Absolutely. Oh, my God. Immaculate cross. Best cross I've ever seen, I think, of my life. Immediately threatening, right? Sent it right to Clement Lenglet, knowing he'll make a mistake, and lays up his striker left winger for a nice little header at Neto that, isn't the best work, but obviously the left winger let us down there because it was absolutely incredible. And Martini does nothing wrong. Now, he wasn't always that great for Barcelona. He really started playing the most for Barca last season. He didn't really play at all the season before, I believe. I think he was still playing with Barca Athletic primarily this year. Yep, was playing with Barca Athletic. Was doing it at left back as well. And played a lot of football. Like, he started all of these games, just about. But you can see when he came in to Barca's side last season, I remember vividly, no one liked him. No one wanted him around. He barely played. Was very much so a backup, got a lot of crap minutes, but played a lot more at the end of the season. However, played primarily as a left back. And so we were unsure of where he would be at this team. And I know a lot of fans didn't love him that much as well, right? They were left kind of confused and calling for a new left back signing like he wasn't the option. And he did not look that great. He's not that fast. He is a little indecisive and he's not great going forward. And so Barcelona were left questioning if he is the right answer, probably saying he's not and they wanted him to go or just not play at all. But he's kind of been rebirthed this season as this center back under Hansi Flick. And yes, this is a very short sample size, but a very good one at that, a very impressive one in the past 3 games, playing against Athletic Club, Deportivo Alaves, and Atletico Madrid right down here. What is this? After using this 15-second hair rebirth ritual, my hair is fine. Thank you. A lot of golf club ads, though. That's fun. Really good work. Past 3 games, obviously 2 goals in the past 3 games, which is actually decent considering Barcelona's history. Yes, he did concede, or he didn't do great, but he only played 10 minutes against Chelsea and, wasn't able to really come in and do that much impactful work there. And so, yes, it is a small sample size, but he's not a small player. I think he's 6'1", 6 foot, so he's got a little bit of height. He's bulkier, I feel like, than Kubarsi is as well. I think they're similar heights. And so that gives us a little bit of security, but a similar builds to Inigo Martinez, who was spectacular last season. And I think a lot of fans are noticing the potential in this as well. A lot of fans are really, really excited about it. And I think it's wonderful to see them genuinely excited about, yes, it's not the most amazing move or the most highest potential move there is, but it's cool and it's fun, and it's nice to see everyone getting behind him and supporting him. Look, obviously, big L, Milos Kerkez, who the F is Gerard Martin, and then mogged because he's absolutely studying it out here. We got a 7.0 against Atleti, which is a fantastic rating against a very hard team. Obviously, against Julian Alvarez, one of the best strikers in the world. 8 against Alaves, 7.5 against Athletic Club. Doing really, really well. All the while, Milos Kerkez, who the hell cares? Liverpool's sleeping to death. But look, my guy, he's making Julian look like a fool. Now, this is just a picture, and we can only read so much into it, but I'm taking it. I'm taking it as a big dub because none of this was expected, right? We were supposed to struggle. We were supposed to really not have any clue what's going on. Ronald Araujo hasn't looked like himself in a long time, and I talked about that in a recent video where, I just discussed more about Ronald's situation and him having to ask for some mental health days off. And I understand that. I can sympathize with that. And I know that's difficult. And as a human being to another human being, I hope he gets through it and he figures it out and he finds out what's best for him. Absolutely. Help him take his time. But I'm also concerned as a Barcelona fan about what my team would look like. I'm not really anymore because I don't think Gerard Martin's any significantly worse than any other center back Barcelona have. Christensen is obviously not healthy enough to be able to be playing too much. Kubarsi has been playing so much football, and he hasn't looked the best either, but he's young, and he always looks best when he has a more experienced player next to him, and or at least when the whole dynamic is a little bit more certain, if that makes sense. Barcelona have been playing so all over the place that it's hard to come up with something like that. This season, hopefully, having Gerard Martin next to him, which is wild to say, but I think it's actually really good for Kubarsi because Martin seems more comfortable. He also seems more comfortable not only than the other center backs at center back, especially Araujo, but also Eric Garcia, but also he seems more comfortable at center back than he did at left back for Barcelona this entire time. I'm surprised that he's good there, honestly. I think a lot of people were worried, and I was too. I didn't think he had much in the tank here, but he's impressive, and it's fun to have these cult heroes to root for, to support, and to keep like the train going before Barcelona can make any signings. We're seeing some things on Twitter from Joan Laporta saying Barcelona have some money, but I don't know. I think it's a little optimistic. And for now, we're stuck with Maldini over here. And I'm okay that motherfucker. That's Gerard Maldini, and it's true, man. It's fun to have these players to get behind. It's fun when you see positivity around this instead of just negatively banging on Araujo. When yes, it's a difficult situation, but he is just not fit. Everything he's good at does not fit that well under Hansi's system. After all, he's just not that great at making hard decisions under a lot of pressure, and that happens to be the only defending you have to do under Hansi Flick, basically, being under a ton of pressure, being in a dangerous instance, I guess you could say. Those dangerous situations, that's something that Gerard Martin seems okay with so far, right? This might be jumping the gun a little bit, but I'm not saying he's got to be the greatest defender of all time, but he's looking great. That's all I'm saying, and I'm just happy about it. I think we've got a couple of these conversations to have as well. One probably about Eric Garcia and his development as a pivot while Frankie de Jong is out and Pedri was out and constantly Casado's not looking really that fit for that position. It's nice to have these guys to root for and to be happy with. And Gerard Martin is from Barcelona. I don't believe he started his career in the Barcelona Academy. I think he started at Cornellà, at least in 1920, was I believe in the Cornellà Academy, and then made his way to Barça Athletic, where then he obviously got promoted to the first team under Hansi Flick last season. Didn't look spectacular. Fans didn't have him behind him to the point where this season he's probably going to be the starting center back for the next couple games, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And I think it's cool to be able to root for this guy to see this turnaround and to be kind of comfortable in the defensive setup of this team. I'm not really sure where this is going to go. I would expect Barcelona to still try and sign a center back either in the winter, probably the summer though, because they're broke as hell. We have no money. But it's nice to see them have this support and have this position in the squad, not filled, but a little bit more comfortable, especially with the more important games, the more important points, especially in the Champions League coming, and the very tight competition and tight standings in La Liga. Also, putting some pressure on these guys, again, I've said something like this in the past where we got to peak at the right time. Barcelona hasn't peaked yet this season, and you don't even have to be that great to win the Champions League. We've seen that with Real Madrid. I say that all the time, but it's realistically true. You don't have to be perfect all season. You don't have to be making Varvar's power rankings of the top 10 from Box to Box show to be good, to qualify, to make a mark. PSG sucked again last year in the early stages of the Champions League, and that's okay. Barcelona can find their footing. This is the time to do that, and to deal with injuries. This is the time to do that, not later on in the season. Good things are coming, boys. Gerard Martin is one of those many, many good things that we've got to look forward to. And I love the memes, boys. Continue sending them, continue posting them, do your thing. And I'll see you guys tomorrow when Barcelona play Elche. I have no idea who they're playing tomorrow, but they're playing football. That's a good thing. So I'll see you guys then. Peace, everybody.